Okay, so welcome back to the next episode of The Wellness Pitch. And Max, we are in beautiful New York City.
Yeah.
And we're actually right next to the very well now known Equinox Hotel. Michelle Dowcourt, one of my best friends, was obviously involved, Equinox Advisory Board, with putting that together. I was lucky enough to stay there, and it is absolutely stunning hotel. So anyone that's into like a health destination or one of the healthiest hotels in the world, that's the place to do it. So today we are speaking to Max Stevenson, and Max is from Remaker, and he's going to walk us through all of their new tech. And Max has flown all the way over from London in the UK. And so Max, so let's get into it. So you've created a really clever piece of tech.
That's right.
We first got introduced just very briefly through Rob from Indigo Fitness. So thanks very much, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
And as of today, just before we get into it, and before I forget, you've gone now live with your AI component too, which we can get into.
We'll talk in a minute. Yeah, exactly. A very big day, a very exciting time for us. Exactly.
So Max, talk us through Remaker. Give us a little bit of the backstory. Obviously, Humphrey's your business partner.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about how we even got here in the first place, and then let's start talking through a little bit about the tech and how people are going to use it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Richard, and thanks for having me. It's been a big journey for us. I think what we realised, Humphrey and I, was that there's a lot of gadgets, trackers in the world that can do cardio, that give real-time feedback as you do cardio training. But strength is as important as cardio. All the science says that, particularly in the last 5, 10, 15 years. We've just seen strength become increasingly understood as greater for your longevity, your lifestyle, all the good things as well, Richard, about strength. But how can you motivate individuals? How can you drive intent? How can you give purpose to training in a way that's kind of progress beyond the load? And we've seen that in pro sports. They have lots of kind of big machines, quite cumbersome machinery, and in ways of galvanizing the athletes and coaches. But what Humphrey and I found, and the reason why Remake came about, was like, how can we make that accessible to everyone? How can we make strength motivational, purposeful to everyone beyond just load? So we came about from Humphrey's military background, how he was looking to train, how he wanted to track and see progress in his strength beyond just cardio tracking. And for me as an amateur sports folk, how can I, again, get that level of motivation to do strength training and see progress beyond the load?
And so Max, so that's a really good point, and we've talked about this before, is that when it comes to wearables and a lot of the data, a lot of the tech, everything's really tracking that metabolic style, cardio-based workout, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas now, really, what you guys have been focusing on is how do we allow someone to do a strength workout and actually have some data and actually have a way to actually look and track it, and especially with things which we'll talk about around things like bands, where there is no way to know how much is the load, what's the speed, what's the resistance, right?
Exactly. And it's a really important point, because data for data's sake is meaningless.
Yeah.
How do you make that purposeful? And we don't want to give just people insights where they have to kind of work out for themselves what that means. And this is where the AI component today is so exciting, because now we can give that level of feedback that's actually intuitive to people, that they can understand, that gives a level of insight so they can understand how to train, or what they should be looking for in their training.
And then so let's break that down a little bit. So let's give an example of, let's walk them through, Max. So pretend that we're anchored to something in the gym.
Correct.
A frame, and then obviously, so we've got the Remaker component here, which is this silver section here, linked in top and bottom. So Max, you can really attach anything onto either side of the carabiners, correct?
Exactly. So we've got two bits of kit. One is the smart carabiner, which we call the Remaker Link, exactly as you say, which is obviously, it links to things. A bit cable machines, straps for isometrics and whatnot, bands, and we've got the relatively new product, which has come to market for anything that's free weight, body weight, so plyometrics and all that good stuff, which you can wear or put onto the bar or whatever, and it's Velcro straps. You can do it for jumps. And many other free weight, body weight exercises.
And so both of these devices, Max, are both talking to the app.
Then talk to an app. Exactly.
But it's real time data.
It gives you.
So as you
do a repetition again through a band, a front raise for argument's sake, it will tell you how much force is being generated through the band, and blue band, red band, black band, or different bands.
Which is something that we talked about, right? Because every band has a different stretch and therefore resistance profile.
Yes.
So this is an actual way to actually tell you. So if I'm a coach, I now know that the red band's going to give me this much force over this much distance, and I can figure that out for all the different bands, right?
Exactly.
Because one of the things that we talked about yesterday was that, you know, obviously the new F1 movie.
Yes.
Obviously Remaker is on the new movie, which is pretty amazing. And while they're doing a lot of the static head strength work with the cables, the Remaker's on there. And so really now the future of that is that if I'm doing something like that, trying to replicate sort of G-forces, for instance in Formula One, I now know how much force is actually going through that band.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that was another big moment for the team is to see our product in the Formula One Brad Pitt movie, because we very much are supporting drivers in Formula One. And that's kind of, as I say, where we started the elite sports community, just loving that feedback. But given the consumer kind of friendly UI, the user friendliness of our app, we've just had clubs, trainers, fitness enthusiasts, my mother even, just loving using our technology because it's that user friendly, and it gives kind of, again, that meaning behind the training. So you don't need to be the sports science PhD analyst in the sports club. You can be anyone.
So Max, so let's break that down a bit, right? So let's say that I'm a coach or I'm a therapist, right? And I need you to do a certain amount of load using bands, right? So I'm basically going to do whatever that exercise is that I've been tasked to do, and now this little device, while he's adding resistance to that, that's going to speak directly to the app, correct? Directly to the app. You'll get a live force gauge. So actually, we just found kind of as the user, you get motivated because you can see in real time as force is being generated. Or for instance, using this one, as you're lifting any weight, show it to the camera. It gives you a real-time speed at which you're moving it. It'll give you a range of motion, bar path, and such. So between the two of these, you've basically got any exercise covered to give you real-time feedback as you train, and then you can track that over time post-session. And I think one of the questions I had asked you before coming to this was that you can also, if I'm a therapist saying, I need you to use this, this coloured band, and you're going to go to this distance, I can now track how far that person goes. So if I've got a restriction through an injury, if I'm only supposed to sort of go to here, then that's going to actually help me guide that person, right?
100%.
As opposed to stopping them from going to here accidentally, right? Which could actually make the injury worse, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. I had shoulder reconstruction surgery about 10 years ago. Before that's one of the reasons why we came about inventing Remaker for that very purpose. Like my rehab journey was just based on feel and the pain test. Yeah. When do you say ouch?
Yes, that's so true, right?
But actually, can I have some information behind that, and then can I have the AI that's going to help me generate, okay, what should I be doing alongside the therapist? So again, it's that tool for the therapist, for the trainer, for the coach. It's the motivational input and intent for the athlete, for the user.
And so Max, so therefore something like this, just to give people a little bit more idea. So even attaching a TRX band, anything where it's sort of strap force where I can't understand what the actual load is.
Correct. That's exactly right. So we're working, again, probably a good point to note in terms of the science behind it. It's being tested in the biomechanics labs at Imperial College London universities, St Mary's universities. We're even working with some universities in the US from a kind of laboratory testing, validation perspective. So Sutton Hall, Berkeley and whatnot have got it, which is very exciting for us to kind of have these institutions
that's amazing.
wanting to put it into their programs. And then as a result, we get that validation from these institutions.
And one thing that we haven't touched on yet, but as you and I both know, is that female strength has become obviously a massive thing, right? So, if I need to, and especially with the AI component now, is that literally I can put in, here's my goals, here's who I am, and then literally, you were walking me through yesterday, that will actually then, in real time, create an actual program for me. And then as I go through and track each of my workouts, it's then going to tweak and update that.
That's exactly
right. Based on how my session was and based on what my goal is, correct?
That's exactly right. Exactly right. With written feedback to tell you whether you're doing a good job or your form's in progress and whatnot. So it even gives you that kind of like personal feedback as well.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which is great. Because our whole point is to make strength accessible. Again, from rehab to being fit, from fit through to whatever performance looks for you, whether you are, again, in an NFL team or a soccer team or something, all the way through to, again, my mother. But
that's amazing. And really, it's giving validity to strength.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I think we've seen that, haven't we, in terms of kind of how can strength improve lifestyles. And we've talked about recovery before, and that recovery becoming such a big part of fitness. And healthy lifestyles, what does recovery mean? And Remaker can tell you, are you ready to train? We've got a readiness Remaker test, or assessment we call it, in the app. So you can, before you even train, say, am I ready to train?
So that's brilliant, because where we just launched with Hong Kong, part of our recovery concept there is about making sure that people are ready before they actually go in to even attempt recovery. And a lot of our componentry there is based around mobility. So we could even integrate something into that where not only are they sort of, how do you feel today and how's your body moving? Now you have a way to sort of validate that, to say, you're probably really not ready to do this mobility work, which means you're probably not ready then to get into a really stressful protocol.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. We say it's progress you can feel, results you can see.
I love
because
that,
yes, the feeling's great and we can get the feeling, but again, can we back it up with some results to know, is it right to get back into the training phase? How should we be training based on how we're feeling, but have got some data behind that? And how can you put those two together in a way that doesn't bamboozle the user?
Well, which is because we talked a lot about that too, isn't it? It's like AI is such a great tool, but it's how you use that information, right? And based on how you've created it now, it's brilliant. So it just helps guide somebody through their workout.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think particularly those of you who are coming into strength, again, you said the women's agenda is wonderful and fantastic, and it's growing massively. And how he can support them in what has been quite a male-dominated space before. And again, can we break down those boundaries? Can we make it accessible? The democratization of insights to all in the strength arena. And that's what we're passionate about. And how can we do that? We're doing that through technology. Again, it's been wonderful to win awards. There've been so many big highlights, Richard, this year.
So the F1 Formula, having been a startup guy most of my life, that must have been amazing.
A huge moment for us, I must say.
And then to obviously get awards on top of that, and then to have actual universities looking at it, studying it, is pretty amazing.
It's great, and then it's just trying to, we just want to get it out there to everyone, and to have all these different other bits to help build the momentum is so encouraging for us as a team, as we're just trying to get as much feedback from the market, seeing what works, what doesn't. That's what innovation's all about, that's what R&D is all about. Get that feedback from the market.
And so you're obviously lucky enough to meet with Equinox yesterday. I think you met with James.
That's right.
Yeah,
that was great. They were wonderful meeting with him, so very thankful for his time. I know he's got a very busy schedule. And other facilities and clubs around, both in the US but also in Europe, obviously we're based in London. And so the more we can meet, engage, present the agenda, look to equip.
And so let's walk through that a little bit now too, Max. So obviously, the link, we've obviously covered that now. So let's talk about Move, which is the brand new piece of kit.
That's right, exactly.
And let's explain firstly, if our cameraman can zoom in, you want to hold that up. Good job, cameraman. So this just simply straps and obviously just sits onto your wrist, or as you mentioned, it can also go onto the bar itself, correct?
Onto the bar for any, again, that's if you're doing bar work, onto the wrist if you're doing kind of dumbbells, let's say, which might be where do you put it, or a kettlebell or such like that. If you're doing kind of any free weight, body weight movements, should I say? So like I can rip this off, and we have other straps so you can put on yourself. So again, pull-ups, I actually put in my pocket. And it's so versatile and portable. If I'm doing jumps, again, some of that plyometric stuff, you're doing hops or pogos, or drop jumps or box jumps, counter movement jumps, you'd put the strap around your foot and just put on your foot. And then we'll just give you, again, all about the insights, but insights with meaning. So how it's going to help me train better. And
so in that example there, with with hot steps and hops and things like that, right? So where you're looking at something where you want really, really short ground time reaction.
Exactly.
Obviously, this will actually tell them, so that when they go back and have a look at it with the coach can say you were just a little bit too slow getting off the ground again, right? So if you're working on speed off the ground, you've actually got data now to really see it, rather than trying to show them on film, right? Which is obviously hard.
This is exactly right, and it's real time. So the coach, or you could have the iPad on, or your phone, because it's iPad, it's phone, it's whatever, it's every tablets. Can just have it propped up, and as you're working, it'll give you the feedback as you're going.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So let's talk about that then, Max, because you're saying now possibly the future of this too is that you would have this set up in like a functional training area, or even a strength area within the gym. You've now got a big flat screen. And now this is talking directly to that. So if I'm a coach, I could have somebody on TRX straps, I could have somebody on bands, I could have someone doing box jumps,
Yep.
and all of that now can go real time onto that screen.
Correct, exactly. So a bit like what MyZone have done in a lot of places, they've been able to kind of project people's results if should the user want them to be projected, and that's what we're very conscious of. Particularly, there's training can be very personal to you. So do you want to project it? But if you want to, you can go on leaderboards, so you can create classes.
Yeah, but if not, you obviously just use it on your phone, right?
And then we've had trainers going, okay, is this going to help me as a trainer, or is it going to actually restrict me as a trainer? Is it taking? No, this is a tool to support you as trainers, because now you've got evidence of your session to your client base.
Well, and especially if you're talking about speed, range of motion,
exactly.
Understanding the load, power output, all of those things. If for a coach, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because now they've got real-time data to actually know that, correct?
Exactly. And then once you've got a profile that's building, obviously the AI stuff will help build the profile for you as a person, or for the coach, the trainer, the physiotherapist, whoever it happens to be. But then you've got that benchmark, so then start seeing your progress build from that benchmark, from the early session, as a training tool. So you can, again, progress you can feel, results you can see.
So then, Max, so walk us through this, because this looks like a really expensive piece of kit. So can you give us some idea of price range, just where it's at the moment? Can they just go to the Remaker website? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. It's really nice talking to, again, practitioners and athletes. Everyone's an athlete. Athletes all over the world saying, Max, it's so, and this is their words, not mine. Portable, versatile, user-friendly, and super affordable compared to what you get. And because we don't want pricing to be a barrier to, again, democratize insights, democratize that accessibility to strength training. You can go onto our website, it's all there. It's a one-off cost at the moment for the hardware pieces, so the Remaker Link, the Smart Carabiner, or the Remaker Move. And then it's a subscription, but again, like 3 cups of coffee per month, as it were, for the app. And as a coach, you get also a web portal. So again, there's a great license where you can remotely see.
And so, Max, so when I purchase the hardware, then the AI component is wrapped in.
Wrapped in
as part of your monthly fee.
Correct. And any app updates just comes free. So we've done some huge updates over the last 12 months, and everyone who bought it 12 months ago just seeing these amazing benefits, which I think are costing in other apps, multiples of what we're charging. Because again, we want to make it accessible. And scalable too. So if you're a club, again, you don't just have 1 or 2 of these in the corner as like a testing station, like I've seen in the past in some gym clubs. But no, you want to enable your every member within reason to have access to this.
And even, Max, as we're talking now and just thinking about, I've known Philip Mills and Les Mills for years, and you have all these different types of classes, and group-based classes. Even having it where it's pushed up onto the screen, similar to MyZone, like you said. If we're working within ranges and it's a whole, let's say, a class that's based on resistance training, using whether it's bands or straps or anything like that too, everyone could be working within a certain range. So I mean, and so the coach can actually say, okay, everyone, I need you to take it out this far. And then if someone's not, they can say, no, a little bit further, Max, a little bit less.
100%. And there'll even be, there's audio feedback as well.
That's
so
amazing.
Even the individual can have the audio as kind of to nudge them, whilst the trainer can also see it live as well.
And Max, surely the physical therapy world, any kind of therapy world where you have that thing where you see a patient and then they go away, you know that they're probably not going to do any of the exercises.
Adherence.
And we talked about that with your shoulder, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You would wish now, looking back, that you'd probably done all of your rehab.
That's exactly right.
Not half of it.
Would have played rugby for longer.
There you go. That's right. Yeah. Well, at least now you've got the ability, for a therapist to be able to actually see what you've done, the ranges, the load, and then to make sure, and then that's sort of their nudge to make sure that they can follow you up and say, hey Max, you've still got 3 months left on this. Don't stop now.
That's exactly. So again, all the information is held in the very secure Remaker cloud. Again, we've got Premiership football clubs, soccer teams in the US, but we've got military contracts in the UK already, which is amazing, and they want super secure, where is it held, data. So, but all stuff sits in our very secure cloud. So it can be pulled onto, we've got a web portal for exactly that. So the therapists, the trainers, the coaches can remotely monitor and not only kind of review and analyze, but also can push notes and plans
amazing.
And adjust. So if I'm at home using this, any third party that I wish to go into my ecosystem can be that support network to me.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I just think that would just change coaching and the therapy world just completely. Because it's their way of, because if they've got hundreds and hundreds of either clients or even athletes who they might be training even online, if they can have access to that, they can help them with the programming, and then they can see how it's modified, right?
Exactly, and even straight after the session, as it all goes to the app, whether you are, again, the user you can share the information immediately post-session, either to your client, to your athletes, even to your friends if you're part of the community. You can hit a share function, and it'll immediately go by email, by Instagram, by WhatsApp, whatever.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Again, trying to give that access of information with meaning and purpose.
Yeah. So Max, so just finally, so obviously the wellness pitch is all about giving startups new clever ideas and products and concepts, the ability to sort of get out to the world, which is sometimes the hardest thing to do, right? So walk us through where you're at now. Where's the business at? How can people help? Can people purchase things right now? So just walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Yeah, so I think exactly. I mean, startup, you bring something new to market. It's groundbreaking. It really is state of the art, and won all these different accolades and whatnot to it. But getting the word out there is still hard.
Yeah.
So how can we tell people that we're bringing something that's new to market, that is revolutionary, that is transformational? And we kind of built the tech. We haven't got much money for that go-to-market piece, although we have a wonderful strategy in place, but now we need the funding to deliver that. So we are fundraising.
Yeah.
So if you want to get involved in that, please get in touch with me.
Yeah.
But likewise, just do check us out. Do get a hold of the tech. Have a play. Have a go.
And then Max, what's the website again?
Yeah, remaker.co.uk. So www.remaker. Spelled on my t-shirt, REMAKER.
Which I'll put into the thread as well too. But
.co.uk. We're a UK-based business, but we serve the world. So we've got clients in Australia.
Yeah.
We've already got clients in Hong Kong, across the US, South America. So
that's amazing.
yeah, we are able to ship everywhere.
So anyone can buy either of the products now as well?
Both. We have accessories that go with it as well, should that be of interest, but like the bands and whatnot.
And the AI is live now?
Live in the app now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Which is great.
So Max, great to see you, mate. Thanks for traveling all the way, obviously, from the UK to be here in New York. So last night, it literally bucketed down, didn't it?
That's right.
And I think if I heard it correctly, it was the hardest rain they've had in an hour in history in New York.
No.
Yeah, a whole bunch of the subways flooded last night. And,
we're making history here.
There we go. But today it's
a lovely day.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. So Max, all the best.
Thank you so much.
Let's hope Remaker does what it should. This is really, really amazing product. First time I saw it, I was super impressed, and let's hope we can see this sort of going on and on for you guys.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.